Online studios in beautiful Bothell, Washington, exclusively at WrestlingObserver.com. You're listening to the Bryan and Vinny Show with your hosts, Brian Alvarez and Big Vinny V.
Granny, you are number one. All of your reports are so much fun. Wrestling memoirs and the soaps, Facebook and some funny jokes. Granny, you are number one. Granny, you are number one. Put that guilt on your grandson.
Go visit your grandmother, Brian.
If a match really blows, just give it a big fat minus so. Granny, you are number one. Granny, you are number one. Granny, you are number one.
Granny, your number one is the Bryan and Vinny and Granny and Craig and Sean Show, October 24, 2023. Figure4online.com/WrestlingObserver.com. And yes, we are actually live and free on YouTube today. That's right. So if you'd like to chat along, jump into the chat right there. And if you're listening free, make sure you hit the subscribe button and that little bell button, because we're going to be doing more free live shows on YouTube. And if you like this one, sign up, because we got Bryan and Vinny shows all throughout the week with Sean and Craig. I guess this is the only show that Sean does. Is that right?
That's true.
Well, every now and then you show up on other days. You know what I'm saying? Pay-per-view reviews, maybe?
Oh, yeah.
You watch all the pay-per-views?
I do.
But anyway, what's going on with you, Granny?
Same as ever.
What does that mean?
Nothing.
Absolutely nothing?
Nothing.
Wow. Well, very exciting. You know, today we're going to do questions from the Facebook, Granny, but also I'm going to take questions from the chat right here. So if anybody wants to send in a question, you're welcome to do so. You can super chat and I'll almost for sure ask it. I can't promise anything for the rest of you, but we're going to do that here tonight. And you know what people are talking about right now in the chat, everybody?
What's that, Brian?
Well, they're talking about what Tony Khan is going to get Sting tomorrow.
We were just talking about that in the car ride here.
How about that? Tony Khan has got a gift for Sting tomorrow on the program. And what were you discussing?
We had a couple ideas. We were thinking about him wheeling out some of his famous opponents over his long career, like Flair, and obviously Dusty can't be there, so you'd have like Dustin Rhodes. Or we were thinking about having like a plaque of him up in the rafters. But he can't get Hogan there because the crowd would boo. But
hey, you can still get him there.
Yeah. Yeah, we're thinking something like that. But then it's like 6 months until the retirement, so it's a little early to start wheeling out the guys and say, hey, congratulations on your retirement in 6 months.
Well, what did Vinny think?
About the idea of retiring a wrestler's identity in the rafters, like sports teams do with their athletes, has not been done before, so that's a new one.
That's what you came up with?
Yeah, I thought it was an interesting idea.
But he's not going to give them a
watch. Mostly I was making jokes.
I see.
Like, you bring out a bunch of people he doesn't like, his worst enemies ever, and then the last gift is his bat.
Well, maybe. You know, what do you think, Craig?
I was going to say maybe he could slowly start wheeling out opponents for him, like dream opponents for him at the next pay-per-view. And
isn't that what you said, Sean?
No,
similar. Oh, you just want him to be there?
Yeah, his
so
historical
he wouldn't be
guys,
wrestling
his retired
any of
guys,
these guys.
Yeah.
I see.
Flair's not going to wrestle him on a pay-per-view.
Granny, what do you think Tony Khan's going to get Sting tomorrow as a big gift?
Are you kidding? I don't even know what
Pick
you're
something.
talking
Fruit
about.
basket?
What is it all about?
Well, Sting. You know Sting? The wrestler Sting?
Sort of.
Okay, well, he's going to retire. And so she says. So the promoter is going to get him a special gift, and we're trying to figure out what that gift is going to be.
I did have one idea.
What is that?
Tony Khan is going to bring in the other Sting to record new theme music.
That'd actually be pretty cool. Yeah, record some new music by Sting right before you retire.
Sure.
Every bump you take.
What a rib that would be.
We did think of some sort of tournament in Sting's name.
You can do that as well.
Honorary Sting Battle Royal.
Maybe a new belt. That's what we really need is the Sting Championship. Well, anyway, speaking of this gift tomorrow, as I talked about on Observer Live today, Sean's birthday was a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, yeah.
And I got a gift for Sean. And so the question today is, will my gift to Sean be better than Tony Khan's gift to Sting? Anybody like to guess over under on what do you think the chances are? You think I got a better gift for Sean than Tony Khan has for Sting?
Sure.
Me.
Yes.
Tony Khan's a millionaire.
He's a billionaire.
Billionaire.
It doesn't matter.
Oh, excuse me. I undersold it.
It's a thought that counts.
Yes.
And Sean, you need to do me a favor.
Yes, sir.
Oh.
Will you carry my belt?
I've done this before.
Hey, wait a minute. That's a new one.
What is this?
What do you think it is?
Is this for me?
What? Yes, for you. It's your birthday present.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, show everybody what you got, brother. Because, we discovered this shortly after it occurred. There was an angle on Raw where Piper Niven showed up, and she just declared that she was the new one half of the tag team champions.
Yeah.
And Adam Cole is gone, and MJF doesn't have a partner, and he handed you his Ring of Honor World Tag Team title. And so I think that, quite frankly, you are now one half of the Ring of Honor Tag Team Champions, Sean.
I will take it. I appreciate that.
Yes.
And as champ, I want to say thank you. MGF, I look forward to partnering with you soon.
I look forward to that as well.
But
What a match that would be at Final Battle.
yeah.
MJF and Sean Garrett defending the Ring of Honor Tag Team titles.
Hey, if Karl Malone can do it and Jay Leno can do it,
That's true.
Yeah.
I could probably train you to be almost as good as those guys.
cool.
At least almost as good as Jay
You
Leno.
can be as good as Jay Leno.
I don't know about Karl Malone.
Malone was an athlete.
Yes, yes. All right. Well, now Sean's got a title belt and an Emmy.
Wow.
Yeah, my God. Now Vinny's really upset about that steak I made him.
That's cool.
Actually, no, I'd rather have the steak.
Thanks, Brian.
Okay.
That steak is very good, yeah.
Excellent. I didn't want you to feel bad.
I know.
All right, Granny, why don't we do some of the questions here, and then I'll get some out of the chat as well. In fact, I'll start with the chat because somebody asked a question here. A super chat, in fact, which I always like because you pay for those. Matthew says, what is Granny's favorite Bryan and Vinny moment of all time?
Yikes.
What are some of your favorite moments on this show, Granny?
How about when I walked you down the aisle at Brian's wedding?
That's right. That's it,
very
Vinny.
sweet.
Well, that wasn't really on the show.
I like
But it was definitely a Bryan and Vinny moment.
That's true. Don't you have a favorite show moment, Granny?
Oh, gosh. With my memory, this is really a crazy program with my questions for me when I don't have my memory back,
Well, sure, yeah. All right.
Yeah, that got
Well,
Maybe that time that I dressed up as Vince McMahon and had to shave my head afterwards, because you put a picture of that up on the internet the other day, I noticed.
Oh, I can't remember that, but
Yes.
I remember coming to your office for
The
for a
Christmas show.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
fun.
That was really fun. That wasn't the night that Tom barfed on my couch, was it?
Actually, it was.
Was it really? Wow.
she was here that night. Yeah.
Yes, I was. Remember, he threw up on
Oh,
my.
that's right. He threw up on your penguin.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's not a euphemism.
What a jerk. All right. Well, Vinny, go ahead.
All right, we have questions today on Granny's Wall, Granny's Facebook page. Ryan D. Norcross. Breakfast buffet. Do you start with the carving station or the omelet bar?
Oh, for sure, the
Omelets.
carving station.
I like
What a stupid question.
I like omelets.
What kind of omelet do you like?
All kinds.
Okay.
And
Bacon.
oh, sorry, Granny, go ahead.
This is a breakfast, by the way. Brian.
We're trying.
This
Well, that
is a-
doesn't matter. To me,
the carving
you start and ended the carving station.
So they're carving ham
Who
and
cares
sausage?
about the rest of
Yes,
it?
prime
but
rib
they're
for breakfast.
Prime rib and
For breakfast?
Steak and eggs?
hell yeah, steak and eggs. You guys never heard of steak and eggs? That's
They
a
don't carve-
breakfast.
They don't carve them at the station, Brian. They
Well-
carve ham, which you hate.
Well, if it's ham, then I'm not going to the carving station. But
There
he
you
didn't
go.
specify. He just said the carving station or the omelet. I'll go to that carving station. Maybe they have turkey, bacon.
Here's one just called the carving station buffet.
Maybe they carve bacon.
They carve off. They have like a whole chunk of bacon and carve off a slab and fry it right there
Hell
in front
yeah.
of you. Yes,
Yeah,
that would be
exactly.
awesome. But
All right.
my gut reaction is whichever line is shorter because I'm impatient.
Hey, we got Cadillac Carson here. super chat. Granny, if you could play Scrabble with anybody famous besides The Undertaker, who would you like to play Scrabble with?
Let me think.
Think of a famous person you'd like to play Scrabble with.
I don't know if he's Danny.
Danny the Elvis impersonator?
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be
It's the
quite a
only
game.
thing I can think of.
I think Ron Simmons would be pretty easy once you got that first word down.
Yes. Yes. Sam says Pat Sajak. What about him?
He's too old.
Wow. Wow. Go ahead, Vinny.
Let's see. This man's name is in Russian, but he wants to know, when will the guys get drunk and review an XPW show?
I don't need to get drunk to review XPW. I need to get drunk to review this TNA. A horrible program this is.
Have you seen an XPW show?
I think I've seen one or two.
Pretty rotten.
I've forgotten which one XPW was. I'm looking up right now. There's a lot of those failed.
The California promotion.
The Raw Black one. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. I've never seen any of those.
Randy Uria here says Sting's gift will be an autographed 8x10 photo of Vinny.
Oh, I suggested.
Who did you think it was going to be?
An autographed 8x10 photo of Tony Khan.
That would be.
He did, yes.
That would definitely be a gift. I don't know if it'd be like a good gift.
I told
It'd be
you,
memorable.
The ones I thought of were all funny. At least I think they were funny.
All right, let's do another one, Vinny.
Alrighty here. Tyler John, a top fan. Granny, if Bryan was a candy/candy bar, what type would he be? And he suggests a cross between a Sour Patch Kid and a hot tamale.
Mr. Goodbar.
Really? Why do you
Of
say that?
all of the questions, she has an immediate answer to. Because I'm such a good guy.
You know why?
Why is that?
Because I went over and wrote some of them down so I can remember.
Okay.
Oh, she did prep work.
Mr. Goodbar.
I see.
I'd say Mounds.
I'll take it. How dare you?
Yeah, because Home Troy has nuts. And anyway.
Mounds does not.
Yeah.
Brian.
Thanks.
Patrick McGuire asks, I find myself suddenly with a house full of kittens.
What?
Granny, are you a cat or dog person?
Uh-oh.
Hey, let me guess. You hate all animals.
Sorry to say, I don't care for either one.
Oh, wow. Don't like cats or dogs.
Don't give me any bad mail.
If you had to have a...
I would prefer a cat
Okay. All right.
over a dog.
They are easier to deal with, those cats.
Yes, much.
Yeah.
Usually less work. Not always, as I can tell you from my own cat.
Have you ever had to walk your cat to...
I've tried to walk a cat, actually.
It doesn't work.
It didn't work out very well.
But you have
I've
to
seen
walk a
somebody
dog
walk a
multiple
cat.
times every day.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, let's see here. Some of these we've had
We used to
before.
try to walk the cat, too. We had a leash for it. Try to
How'd that
take it
go?
outside on the leash. God.
When my cat lost
Whoever invented that, it was just what a money grab.
when my cat lost her leg, we attempted to take her outside on a leash, and it took her, I would say, 7 seconds to realize she could back up out of it. And that was it. Free cat.
You know, I don't want to make light of your cat that has one leg, Vinny, but
Three
my
legs.
my
She's missing
cat,
one leg.
3 legs, I'm sorry. My cat had 4 legs, and we put the leash on the cat, and it basically behaved as if it had 1 leg.
I see.
Yeah, fell on the ground,
the-
face first,
I once
acted like it couldn't get up.
Yes, I once
Yes.
our other cat when I was a teenager, we tried to put a leash on that one and walk her, and she went dead weight in the middle of the sidewalk and stared at me, and she was furious, and she let me know via facial expression I could pull and pull and pull. Her head may come off, but she wasn't taking one damn step on that leash.
Michael here said, when I was a kid, I went to a restaurant that had the men's and women's bathrooms identified by Almond Joy and Mounds.
That's
Parents had to explain that to
Oh
me.
God. Okay.
Yeah,
This sounds like a really classy establishment.
it sure
I
was.
bet that was a great.
Probably some sort of saloon. It was.
Well, speaking of restaurants, then Kip Hackman. If you owned your own themed restaurant, cafe, or bar, what would it be, and what would it be called?
I've pondered this for years.
I think I'd call it the prime rib. And, like, you'd go in and water would fall on your head. Shit like that.
What?
Like a rib.
I see.
Yeah.
It's funny.
You'd think you were going in for steak, but you'd step on a hole with sticks over it.
Whoopee cushions everywhere.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like-
The prime rib.
I have thought about a men's restaurant strictly for for messy food, and everybody would just eat over the sink. It'd be individual sinks and stools all over the place.
I can see this.
Drains on the floor.
I can see
Yeah.
this. I can see this. Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought about start a place called EDF. Everything's deep fried,
Oh,
and you get a menu.
horrible.
It's like a list of proteins. Pick your protein. Pick your batter. Pick your oil. Pick your dipping sauce. That's it.
What would you do, Granny, if you had to create a restaurant? What would you call it?
I wouldn't have no idea at all.
No
Because
restaurant.
I'm just a meat and potato person, so
There you go.
Just call it meat and potatoes.
Granny's
and have
meat and potatoes.
Mounds and
Yeah.
Almond Joy is the two bathrooms.
Would you like meat, potatoes, or both?
yep. That
Okay.
Hey,
Mine would be baked potatoes and nothing else.
Okay. I also thought about a Thai restaurant / bar. It'd be called Taiwan On.
aha.
Granny liked that one.
Granny appreciated that joke.
All right, Philip here says, the other day on the Filthy Tom show, Brian mentioned that he used to watch the Brack Show / Space Coast. Are there any shows the rest of you would have watched that we would be surprised to hear about if we heard? Anyone have any surprising television shows that they watch that perhaps...
I mean, I've checked out almost any cartoon at some point or another.
Okay.
I've been binging
boy.
Archer lately.
Craig's ready.
I love Survivor. I've watched every season. I love
Wow.
that show. I am so addicted to it.
Me too. Are you all caught up?
Absolutely.
We'll talk about it later.
Oh, no.
Okay.
Why don't you two start a show together? Survivor 4 Weekly.
And I hate like reality shows, but that one, I don't know, it just sucks me in every time.
Huh.
And they do something new every season too, so it's not like the exact same show every
They
time.
do something other than trying to survive?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. they do.
Try to survive.
Interesting.
In fact, it's less about trying to survive than it was
It
in
really
the
is.
original.
Yeah.
What about you, Granny? What's the weirdest show that you've ever watched that you've never told us about? You have any bizarre shows that you watch here and there, like Cops or...
Oh, I Love a Mystery. No, I don't watch. I didn't watch that. I can't think of any.
No shows that you watched? What about weird shows back in the day? Nothing bizarre?
Any
Oh,
old
I-
game shows?
I know some, but I can't remember 'em, Brian.
Oh, man.
I will say, okay, this is the most surprising show that I watched. My wife and I actually watched this together. We don't watch The Bachelor very much, but we do watch Bachelor in Paradise, which is just sleaze. You form couples and then bring in singles who only get to stay on the show if they can break up another couple and steal that guy's girl or girl's guy.
What a terrible show.
Yeah, and
That should be called Survivor.
and we laugh, and it's stupid and dumb and trashy and sleazy. And the thing that makes us laugh the most is it's a bunch of young, single, athletic women looking to attract men. They're wearing very, very small swimsuits, some of which are too small for network TV, so they're censored with a big black square. This does not stop the cameraman from zooming in on the big black square.
Okay, we know why you watch it. Why does Bridget watch it?
Poop jokes.
She's a swim teacher.
It's been a bowel-intensive season, that is true. Yes.
Okay.
Brian,
Yes, Granny.
I can think of one, but I can't think of the name of it.
What was it about?
Dracula, I think. Was it Dracula?
Well, there was obviously a Dracula, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the one, Dracula.
Dracula.
Interesting.
Casket
Dark
and all
Shadows?
The Munsters?
that. Yeah, and Dark Shadows. I watched that.
Dark Shadows. Now we're talking.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, Matthew here, Granny, says, what do you want for your birthday coming up? What's so funny?
I want to be able to drive my car.
Oh, no, not this again. Not this again,
So
Granny.
sad.
Well, you don't know for sure, right? Just think it's
Well.
probably unlikely?
Unlikely.
All right. Vinny, let's do one more here.
All right, here's one. Dave Burns says, Granny, we all know Undertaker is your favorite wrestler, but who is your second favorite?
It used to be Nikki Cross, but I don't see her very much anymore. And then it was Kevin and Sammy, and I haven't seen them much anymore. So, but I guess I'll say Kevin and Sammy.
Actually, if you're watching SmackDown, you're going to see Kevin at least. He's on SmackDown now.
Yeah, they're on every week. Kevin and Sammy's on
No,
Raw.
Sammy, yeah, well, Sammy, she doesn't watch Raw.
Oh, okay.
Only watches
He's on what?
Kevin is now on SmackDown.
The Friday show.
Yes.
I hardly watch that even.
No.
Because
Yeah, we caught you cheating last week on your report.
Oh, I was going to tell you I did watch it.
Okay.
Well, that's a
I
good
did.
lie.
And then I just read it afterwards.
I
There was
see.
a question I wanted. Oh, I wanted him to ask one question. When was the first time I felt old?
When was the first time you felt old?
Yeah, there was a question in there, and it was the first time I found out I couldn't drive my car again. That's when I felt old.
So 2 weeks ago?
It's been longer than that.
I've felt old. You would have been in your 30s probably when I first felt old. I'm glad it took you so long to feel old, though, Granny. And on that, let's talk about what you watched this week.
Okay, Phyllis is back as usual.
This is the soap opera report.
Yeah.
Yes.
And her ex, Tommy Ramalotti, who's a singer, she tricked him into marrying her years and years ago. And they got a divorce, and they had Daniel, and now he's back, and she's trying to romance him again. And she's trying to break up.
Sounds like that show Vinny's watching.
She's trying to break up her son's romance now to go back to his former wife. There's so much stuff going on here with ex-wives and all this stuff, and Victor is the one that's trying to trick his kids into thinking he's senile. Well, it's going to backfire because they're going to catch on that that's what he's doing, and it's going to really be bad for him. So, anyway, there's so many storylines that it's just really busy. Okay, now my memos. I have something here. I was going to tell about all the pets we had and all the bad things that happened to them, which wasn't our fault, but I was advised not to tell it
Okay.
because
That does not sound like an entertaining show.
I don't know if that'd be exciting or not.
it'd be bad.
Well, it would not be exciting.
We had really bad things happen with our pets.
All right. Well, we can skip that one this week.
Okay.
Wait, did you watch any wrestling?
Oh, that's right. Got to do that. Okay.
All right.
This is 2001 Trish Stratus versus Stephanie McMahon. Trish comes out wearing a simple amount of clothes, while Steph wears long pants and a dark top. You can tell they hate each other. Steph doesn't waste time. The hair pulling starts. They wind up outside the ring. Steph throws Trish over the barricade. Steph stands on top of the barricade and jumps on Trish. Back in the ring, Trish has Steph in the corner, kicks and punches her. There is so much hair pulling, I'm surprised they have any left. Another outside the ring, Steph bangs Trish's face on the announcer's desk, then picks up a pitcher of water and pours it on her. Back in the ring, both down. The manager comes out from the back and knocks the ref down, drags Trish over on top of Steph. The ref starts counting. The manager takes Steph's foot and puts it on the rope. The manager comes in and in the ring. Steph's still down. Trish slaps the manager. He knocks her out. Steph manages
What a convoluted finish this is.
Steph manages to crawl over and fall on Trish for the win. I gave that an 8.
Wow.
Well, and this next one isn't a match, but I was trying to find a match between Undertaker and John Handen Eric or whatever.
Heidenreich.
Because he was so vicious.
And Eric.
Hand and Eric.
He was so vicious that Heyman the manager had to put him in a straitjacket.
Oh, man.
So I wanted Undertaker to beat him. After much time finding, and one finally was to be one, but instead 2 guys come in and beat up on Undertaker, and finally thought the match would start. The Undertaker punches John and does his walk on the rope. Then Undertaker has the coffin brought in. John gets his panicked look on his face and runs through the crowd and leaves. And so that leaves Undertaker and Heyman back in the ring. Undertaker gets Heyman down on the mat, rolls him across the ring with his foot into the casket. So I never did get to see the match between the two. I worked on that for hours.
They had to have done a match together, right? At some point?
I don't know. I just never found it.
All right. If anybody can find a match where Undertaker actually wrestles and defeats Heidenreich, send it to me and I'll get it to Granny.
Okay, I like
Yes.
that because he was really vicious. He was so bad.
He was a bad wrestler, all right.
Bad. Okay, now
That Hand and Eric.
I'm trying to find where I left off here.
Now back to the memoirs.
Here we go.
We skipped the thing about the pets.
Yeah, there was a whole page and a half, believe it or not.
Undertaker and Heidenreich had a casket match at Royal Rumble 2005.
I think that's what she watched.
Okay.
Yeah. I think you watched the match, Granny. It was a casket match.
So you're fine here. Keep going. I'll see if I can...
Go ahead, Granny.
I did another bad thing. We were moving from the south end to the north end, and we had movers for the big parts, but the rest of it was all up to me, and I was so upset. And Terry had a drawer full of baseball cards that would have been just very valuable.
No.
And
I know where this is going.
I was so mad I threw them in the burn barrel.
Oh!
Yeah.
Millions
Wow.
of dollars burned up in smoke.
All those Honus Wagners.
That's all right, Granny. You don't need that money, right?
I guess not, no.
Yeah.
And then we moved to the south end. We built a small 3-room house that the only heat we had was the kitchen stove. And Terry was about 3, had a cold all the time. It was awful. Then we had a chance to buy a small new house that was just being built, and it had a garage in the back that was living quarters. So we lived in that while the house was being built. And by lumber being bought was $10 a month, and the one before the little shack was $10 a month for the wood, and $10 a month for the lot.
Man.
And wages then was $1.32 an hour.
What year was this? 60s?
No, more like the, let's see, 47, about the 50s.
50s. Okay, that's a little bit better. $1.62 an hour. Wow.
Yep.
Vinny didn't even get paid for that for wrestling.
No, I did not.
Okay, so then we moved into the house, and my brother and his wife and their little girl lived in our garage apartment.
The living quarters.
I had one of the double tub wringer washers that washed on one side and rinsed in the other. And that's the house where my second child was born. And our next door neighbor liked to talk. She didn't do any housework. The milkman went into her house and got the dirty milk bottles when he came. The first day Terry went to school, he brought home a kitty. Somehow we made him take it back. Pets weren't as popular then as now.
The milkman was getting the kitty, too.
They never got neutered or whatever, so there were many dogs just running wild and knocking garbage cans over.
Yeah.
That's where
Clearly there was no Price is Right back then.
Yeah. I learned to drive there, and my brother-in-law helped me.
This was the 1950s.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want this to be a sore spot, Granny, but if you learned to drive in the 1950s, it's now 2023. You know, maybe people could drive you around a little bit. Although someone did suggest that we just take you to a parking lot and let you just go wild.
I learned to drive in a graveyard.
What?
Oh. Well, it was close. So
Yeah, there was a little
Nothing to hurt.
driveway around, and my grandma had me driving the car, and I just drove around the graveyard.
Wow. I actually took the driving school at my high school, Bothell High. And you know that big parking lot that they have on the north side of the school? Back then, they would put you in a car, and the guy would tell you to drive as fast as you could toward the fence. And when he told you to hit the brakes, you had to hit the brakes. And, of course, he had his own brake because he didn't trust these idiot kids. But I was like, what am I learning here? Like, what is this? Drive as fast as you can towards your own death, and then brake at the last second. That was part of the driving school. It was weird.
All right, I've done some Heidenreich research here.
Okay. Hold on, Granny. Stand by. This is
yeah.
about Heidenreich.
Yeah, Taker and Heidenreich wrestled many times, but almost all of them on house shows, including, and this actually makes me furious. Do you remember when Kane was feuding with Gene Snitsky?
Yes,
and at the same time, Taker's, and they teased.
Yes, they did.
A match. We never got Taker and Kane versus John and Gene.
Oh.
I wanted it so bad.
That would have been a 10.
Well, it happened twice, and this part's amazing. One house show in Honolulu, Hawaii, and one house show in Anchorage, Alaska. There's the only two times you could ever see Taker and Kane versus John and Gene. But I think the best bet for Granny would be to look up Survivor Series 2004. There's an Undertaker Heidenreich one-on-one match.
There you go, Granny.
2004?
Yeah, Survivor Series 2004.
Survivor Series 2004.
It'd be November 14th.
And an Eric versus Undertaker.
Okay.
All right. Any more of those memoirs?
Just a little bit.
Okay.
We lived close to a main street. There was a small store, and I think about a 5-lane bowling alley. That's where we started the bowling. From there, we moved to Military Road. We had a big house built. The payment was $129 a month payment on the house. It was a big house.
Doesn't seem too bad till you think about that $1.25 an hour.
Yeah, and in the middle of the night, we got a phone call. I went to answer it, and it said, "Do you live on Military Road?" And I said, "Yes." And he said, "You better get off. There's a car coming." It's got what I got in the middle of the night for humor.
That sounds horrifying. That's it?
That's it.
All right.
I have a question, Brian.
Yes, Granny.
How come my nose looks white?
Probably because you got the computer screen really bright and your nose sticks out more than anything else on your face because it's a nose.
So I should turn the light down?
Well, turn off your computer monitor. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
Your nose doesn't look that white. I think it's your imagination.
It's not very good, though.
Okay.
Okay, I'm done. I won't do anything extra this time.
You know, you could get some makeup and, paint your nose, brown or whatever.
Today it just looks worse than ever.
Brown.
Worse than ever, you say.
Yeah.
Well, Granny, we think your nose looks great. Hey, a couple of weeks, we got that Granny birthday celebration we're going to do, Granny. What do you want to do here on the show that day?
Cry.
Get out of here.
All right.
Hope that show's free.
We'll figure something fun out, Granny, okay?
Okay.
All right. Well, Red 5, we'll see you next week there, Granny. Enjoy this rain. It sucks, doesn't it?
Oh, are you going to do anything, dressing up or anything for Halloween?
Well, of course the children have costumes.
It's next week.
It sure is, yeah.
On
Tuesday.
this show.
Oh, yeah. Are we going to be in
we got to
costume,
figure
too?
that out. Yeah, of course we're going to be in costumes.
Oh.
Undoubtedly.
Okay, just wanted to make sure.
Maybe we'll stop by your house, too. We'll see. Depends on if the kids are ill, which they are 80% of the time.
Oh, yeah. I don't even listen to you anymore on that.
Thanks, Granny. Anything else?
No.
All right. We'll see you next Tuesday, Granny. We'll see you next Tuesday.
Okay.
All right. We'll see you next time, Granny. Say bye to all the YouTubers.
Bye.
She's gone.
All right, she's out of here. All right, well, now it is this Tuesday. We got to talk about this NWA TNA show.
We watched NWA TNA number 18, October 23rd, 2002. I thought it was a much better show than usual. First half, I would say, was downright awesome.
Well, you know what this show did for me? It made me the biggest fan of Brian Christopher.
Me too.
I have turned the corner on this guy so powerfully because he clearly realizes that this is a pile of shit. It's absolutely fucking stupid, and he is just going to have as much fun as he possibly can. You know, they go, a wrestler is a person's own personality turned up to 10. Mm-hmm. He's got it turned up to good 35, 40. Everything he does is so absolutely, positively, over-the-top ridiculous. He's making a mockery of this place. And quite frankly, the place deserves it. So I've turned the corner on the guy. He's my favorite guy on this show right now. Am I the only one?
No, that's exactly what I told Vinny on the way here, and he rolled his eyes.
Well, you're an idiot, Vinny.
Thank you.
Who's better on this show?
AJ Styles?
I mean, he's a better
Amazing
wrestler.
Red?
I mean, they're good wrestlers.
Hey, listen, I've laughed at Brian Christopher before, too. There's nothing wrong with laughing at Brian Christopher.
I did nothing but laugh at him on the show.
Okay, then great.
Everything he did was hilarious.
So we have fancy new graphics packages. Showing us tonight has Jerry Lynn versus Sonny Siaki, Jeff Jarrett versus Scott Hall, and Truth versus Kurt Hennig. But first, a 5-man, 5-way X Division match.
A what?
A 5-man, 5-way X Division match.
Isn't a 5-man automatically a fucking 5-way?
Apparently not.
What's it, a tag?
Take it up with Borash.
I don't blame that guy.
I'm just telling you what he said.
He didn't book it.
So it's Amazing Red versus Kid Cash versus the SATs versus Elix Skipper. There were a few moments here where they were trying to get too cute and someone's out of position and everyone's just standing there waiting for someone to get in there and they did a big convoluted move. But by and large, this is just a nonstop parade of awesome moves. It was really, really cool. Elix looked great in this match. And it's not his debut, but they haven't really done anything with him. And this is, I think, the first time on TNA that he's done the rope walk Hurricane Rana. Place went crazy for that. And several minutes into this, by the way. It's not like a total sprint like some of these other multi-man matches. We're 8+ minutes in before the first pin, and Elix pins Jose with the play of the day. I thought, man, Elix looks great. He's super over. They haven't done anything with him. He'd be a new face to get to the top of this here X Division thing. They could do something with him. Literally 30 seconds later, Joel pinned him with a Deadeye. Because
you see, Vinny, it's a 5-man, 5-way elimination match.
Yes.
Okay. So they're doing this match, and like there's a lot of cool moves and everything, and it was enjoyable for what it was, I guess. But like I'm watching it, and they do the first elimination. I think it's one of the Maximos.
Yes.
And I wasn't really paying that close of attention because the show sucks. So I thought the match was over, and then it kept going, and I realized it's an elimination match. And then they did another elimination immediately, and another elimination immediately. And it was like, if you're just going to eliminate everybody quickly, why wasn't it just one fall to a finish? Why did we bother with this elimination bullshit and end up beating everybody? I was happy that at the end, it actually resulted in a win for Amazing Red. They finally let the guy win a big match. I don't think they're going to end up doing jack shit with him, but it's about time that he finally got a big win. But I enjoyed it enough.
Well, not only that, they did a bunch of eliminations in a row, but then the last 3 or 4 minutes was just Cash versus Red one-on-one, and a match I had already been enjoying got significantly better. That part was great, and yes, Red got the win with the infrared. Whole thing went about 12 minutes.
Also, as Dylan notes out here, why did they make so many saves? What's the fucking point? Does it benefit you if someone else gets eliminated? Yes, it does. Why were they breaking up pins? I don't know!
I honestly didn't even notice. I was watching the cool moves. I concede. I turned my brain off.
About halfway through this match, this elimination match where 5 guys can do anything they want, Elix Skipper is standing on the outside waiting for a tag. And Don West notices this, and he says, explain the rules again to me. Because apparently the first 5 minutes when Mike Tenay was explaining the rules, no one got it. So Tenay had to go through the entire rules again.
Well, apparently, somewhere in here they described it as a Lucha Libre 5-man. And that's what confused Don. And tonight Mike Tenay said, well, if this was a tag match, you would not need to make tags to come in and out of the ring.
He said the variation of the rules.
Yeah.
That's what he said once they started doing whatever they wanted.
Why not just say it's a 5-way, 5-man elimination match? And you shouldn't break up pins unless you're a dumb shit. But they're going to do it anyway to make it more exciting. I don't know. Hey, listen, I've seen worse on this show. A lot of things, actually.
This particular episode is kind of like the whole feeling of getting drunk. Like, first you're sober, and then as you start to drink, it doesn't necessarily get better, but it makes you feel worse.
You're drinking wrong. You are doing it wrong, my friend. So here's a blast from the past. They plugged an auction on the website to raise money for a good cause. The cause was to raise reward money to catch the DC sniper.
Huh.
Wow. And
That's a new one.
on the website, they have scrubbed every other mention of this auction, but apparently on Sean's version, they went into great detail about some of the prizes that were available.
Yes, so you can...
What were some of the prizes?
So you can auction to win a Jeremy Borash time, so you can get to introduce a match. You get to sit next to Mike Tenay and Don West during a match. And my favorite is you get to jet ski with Jeff Jarrett.
So did any of this actually, like, did people actually win?
I assume so. They were talking about how it raised like $30,000.
Wow. All right. Well, that's cool.
You're really glossing over jet ski with Jeff Jarrett being one of these prizes.
Well, guy likes to jet ski. What's wrong with that? He might hit you with a guitar and
Drown you.
throw some people off boats and shit, but...
I was blown away by that being something people would pay money for, but okay. Goldie interviews Brian Lawler, who is watching the door, can't talk now, wants to do the interview later. He was, in fact, very wacky.
By the way, Colin here says, have you guys read the Jerry Jarrett journals from around the startup of TNA? Oh, have we ever?
Yeah, it's been, I forget the guy's fella's name. I'll look it up here, but they've been sharing them on the board.
Yeah, it's funny because like we read them after every show, and then, you know, sometimes this Jerry Jarrett is like fucking spot on. Like he realizes what sucks and, you know, this and that. But then sometimes, like last week's show was a fucking atrocity, and then you read his report and he liked it. I'm like,
yeah,
I don't get this guy.
Put some effort into it. Good show.
Fella's name, I believe, is pronounced Dewey, D-E-W-E.
Yeah.
Yeah. But there was, it was 3 or 4 weeks ago, and there was a scree, a rant Jerry went on about what it's like to work with Vince Russo and how difficult it is. I enjoy that thoroughly. The Hot Shots versus Chris Harris and James Storm.
Yeah.
Had a very good tag match.
Hey, you know what I noticed about this? James Storm and Chris Harris have not been beaten.
Nope.
They're undefeated.
They made this very, very clear.
Yes. And, you know, if you watch them at this point, like, they're solid tag team wrestlers. They're not particularly charismatic. Chris Harris is really not very charismatic at all. And, I mean, neither of them have in-ring charisma right now. Mm-hmm. When they did a couple of those interview segments, you know, one guy's a cowboy and he's silly, and then the other guy doesn't like him being a cowboy. They're trying to give him personality or whatever. But they're fucking over. And the reason they're over is largely because they've never lost. What a novel concept. People are always like, well, you know, you can't just have people not lose. Well, actually, no, sometimes you can just have people not lose. And sometimes when you do that, they fucking get over because they're winners. And they always win. And in fact, they won here again.
Oh. Craig is asking if he's muted.
Yeah.
You there?
Hello?
Oh, hi.
I thought you just had nothing to say. I'm sorry, Craig. I feel bad.
Whatever.
How long was that you were trying to get our attention?
It's Vinny's
5,
fault.
10 minutes.
Did you have anything to say about the 5-way?
Yeah, what do you have to say about that 5-way?
It doesn't matter. It really doesn't.
I'm sorry, Craig. I feel bad.
I told you not to push that button, Vinny. God damn it. All right, go ahead.
All right. Well, yeah, as you noted, the Harrison Storm never win. You know what? Never lose. What else they never do anymore is dumb comedy. They just come out here and kick some ass, and they're not the most in-ring charismatic guys I ever saw, but Storm's out there just beating guys' asses, and Chris Harris looked awesome here. He's tall. He has a great body. He's got great hair. He's flying all over the place. And there was no kill the cowboy chance this week. People are totally into him. The Hot Shots jumped him last week. They want to see these guys get the revenge. And it goes like 7.5 minutes and do a little back and forth. James Storm gets the hot tag. And he starts the hot tag in the most I guess it wasn't old school then. It's old school now. You always start your hot tag with a big back body drop. Because it looks really cool, and it's really easy to do, unless you're the hot shots, apparently, who both look absolutely terrified, didn't want to go up. But that was great. And they go back and forth, and Storm wins that wacky face buster that he calls the 8-second ride, which he used in his one match in NXT, and I said I'd never seen before, and someone showed me a video where he used like a dozen times in a TNA. But anyway, they get the win, and Mike Tenay says the fans have been calling them America's Most Wanted.
Wow.
We can finally give them an actual team name now. I was very happy with this.
Yeah, it was good.
That one guy with the hot shots looks like Shane Douglas from Wish.
One guy looks like Wish St. Douglas, the other looks like Wish ROH CM Punk.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
The biggest loser of the night is this guy who had a sign that said, "We spent over $500 to see TNA wrestling." A, they're giving tickets away. B, also the inflation calculator says it's $855 to see that
Maybe
show.
they flew in from the UK.
This match felt like a 20-minute match that went 5 minutes. These guys were cruising. It was non-stop. It was the fastest match I ever saw.
We have Goldilocks interviewing Jerry Lynn, who admits his knee is not 100%, but hell, he worked a month and a half with a fractured tailbone. Wrestlers don't get an off-season. All these young guys want to use me as a stepping stone. It's nothing new to me. And he finishes, and suddenly Brian Lawler's giant face fills the screen.
Yes. He's looking in the camera lens for April. She might be in there.
That's actually what was
Turns
happening.
out she wasn't,
She was not inside the camera.
but he had to look.
Yeah. Sonny Siaki versus Jerry Lynn. Lynn attacks. We get a lot
I actually like this match.
Which is fine. Probably more than fine.
He just worked over Jerry Lynn's leg the entire time. Jerry Lynn sold great, made a couple of comebacks and got cut off, and then snuck out a win, cradled him, pinned him.
That all happened. That all
Yeah,
happened.
it was good.
We had a pre-match brawl that didn't count for a DQ because the match hadn't started yet.
Yeah, they do that all the time
hate-
today.
They still do. I hate that shit. I hate when you see it in all sorts of promotions. I never like it. So, yes, it's all Lynn's running wild until his knee gives out in a slam. And then we got Sonny Siaki playing Zack Sabre Jr.
Yeah.
I think he was taking lessons on how to do an Indian Deathlock on the fly in this match.
Hey, listen, this Sonny Siaki is a lot more talented than he gets credit for being, because he got a stupid gimmick, and they did stupid stuff with him, and then he ended up retiring. But, like, you can watch these matches, and it's like, this guy could have really been something if somebody competent had the chance to do something.
See, I saw a guy who had a sort of a good body, who didn't really know how to wrestle very well, who he's the opposite of Brian Lawler. He has exactly one facial expression. Eyes half closed, mouth wide open. That's how he's social control. That's how
he was all right.
That's how he gets angry at the ref.
Yeah.
That's how he gets pissed off he lost. So I also like the finish is he's going for a figure four or whatever, and Jerry boots him into the corner and goes to the schoolboy, but Siaki is like stuck in the corner. He won't bounce out. So Jerry has to crawl over and get him, hook the cradle, get the win, and then collapse in a pile.
Well, I think he actually was really stuck, because when he went into the corner, his leg actually ended up outside the ring. He dove so far into the corner that one of his legs ended up outside. So actually, he could not just fall back because his leg was stuck.
I see.
He had to get his own leg out.
That's ironic.
Yeah,
Considering Lynn's leg was caught.
his leg was stuck in his leg.
Speaking of ironic, Vinny just talked about his one facial expression, and this company decided, let's give him the Rock's gimmick.
Yes. That is also what happened. Kurt Hennig and BG James come out to do a promo together for some reason.
I don't know why. I thought they were about to do a tag match.
You would think.
They did this whole long fucking promo, and I'm like, okay, I got it. You know, you're saying a bunch of shit. You keep telling us you took down Brock Lesnar at 35,000 feet. And then it's the old Bischoff thing, like, you know, I got to say it a second time to make sure you heard me. And I'm sitting here just going, can we start this fucking match, you know, at some point? And then, no, they did a totally different match. Like, why were they out there talking? What was the point of this? Anybody?
Don't know.
Okay.
So Kurt, as noted, says a lot of people try to be like me. That Mark Diamond Dallas Page tried to steal my gimmick.
He did?
I don't remember perfect Diamond Dallas Page.
I don't remember one time ever. that I watched Diamond Dallas Page and thought, this man is trying to be Kurt Hennig.
So apparently, according to Dave, they had not liked each other since the AWA days.
Well, I can believe that, but I never saw Diamond Dallas Page try to be him.
It's just a random chance to insult a guy who was not on the show and he wouldn't be feuding with.
Sure.
Yes.
He was blonde.
Yeah. So, Jeff Jarrett, you're the ultimate Kurt Hennig wannabe. I beat you as a rookie in Memphis. I started the West Texas Rednecks, made a song called Rap is Crap, and next thing I know, you're carrying a guitar everywhere, trying to be a country western singer.
Well, that's an odd timeline now, isn't it?
He's kind of ignoring what happened 7 years before that part. Whatever it was. It goes off about Brock Lesnar, 30,000 feet several times. Eventually, he challenges Jarrett for next week. Jarrett's music plays, then it stops. We go backstage. Goldilocks is there with Jeff Jarrett and Brian Lawler. Jarrett's like, look, I want to kick their ass, but there's two of them. You need to come with me. Lawler says, I can't go. I have to be here when April arrives. So Jarrett says, screw you and screw April. And he's not a dummy, so he doesn't go out there. He just stays backstage. So we go back to BG James and Kurt Hennig, who are looking around. I don't know if they were expecting this guy to come out or what. But finally, James notes April is still a few months away. The only thing he can call Brian Lawler is lonely, and he does his stupid catchphrase. Then Scott Hall comes out for a promo. He mumbles some lines, which is always uncomfortable when it's Scott Hall, but I think he just made a mistake. He's sick of being a good boy. He's going to do whatever he wants. And Jarrett,
he's been a good boy.
That's what he says. By Scott Hall standards?
I don't know about that one.
Anyway, he wants Jarrett right now. So it's Scott Hall versus Jeff Jarrett. And Hall's beating his ass forever until he goes to the edge. And Jeff Jarrett backdrops him out of the ring to the floor.
Dude, he does that all the time. That's a regular Scott Hall spot.
In 1992, when he was Razor Ramon and a big star.
Well, I mean,
this is 2002 in TNA.
He was feeling it, brother.
I guess so. They had a big time main event style match, which means a lot of punches, a big long sleeper spot, and then 7,000 things happened. There is a ref bump.
You're telling me this all happened in a Jeff Jarrett match?
I know, it's hard to believe.
So there was a ref bump, you say?
Yes, and then a chair was involved.
Okay.
Then Kurt Hennig attacked.
Okay, a run-in.
Then the lights go out.
Lights out, okay.
The lights go out so Truth can cut a promo backstage.
Okay. Guy cutting a promo backstage.
In which he vowed to be in Kurt's ass like an old, cold rectal thermometer.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
The lights come back on. Then Brian Lawler runs out. And
another run-in.
Hennig.
Okay.
BG James attacks Brian Lawler.
Yes.
And somewhere
sure
in this circus, Scott Hall hits the edge on who's he wrestling? Jeff Jarrett. And he gets the win with Kurt Hennig standing in the ring.
Yes.
I'm exhausted.
What a fucking stupid ass finish that was. Brian Lawler, my God. He was a madman. A madman in this segment.
I watched him running away I don't know how many times.
You couldn't make him, like, if you did an animated version of this, you couldn't have made it as funny as him running away in real life. He was a total cartoon. It's like one of those deals where your feet are moving so fast, but your body is moving so slow.
So that leads immediately into Brian Lawler versus BG James. Gentlemen, the floor is yours.
I have my favorite moment, but go ahead.
Why don't you just recap it?
All right. So they're brawling on the floor, which is the story of the second half of the show.
Yes.
In the middle of the fight, Brian Lawler climbs the announce desk, takes the house mic, and asks all the fans if anyone has seen April.
Yeah.
BG James grabs him. He tries to do a backdrop on the floor. It turned into a Deadeye, the
my
pile
God.
driver.
Oh, my God. I don't know what they were trying, dude. He lifted him up, and it didn't look like he was trying to do a backdrop. It looked like he lifted him up and maybe was going to do an Alabama slam.
Yes.
But he lost his balance and fell backwards. And Brian Lawler landed on his fucking face and neck on the cement. I thought for sure this guy was done. And the ref runs over to check on him, and he's grabbing the back of his head. Ah! But then he goes right back into character. And he starts doing all these wacky faces and everything like that. And he just gets right back in the ring. And they keep going. I don't know how this guy survived.
It was amazing.
Yes.
So they're doing this match, and James goes to the pump handle slam. Lawler avoids it and hits a super kick. And It's funny because Bryan Lawler was not a great technical wrestler, but did he not have the best super kick in the entire world? It looked
That was really good.
awesome. So he goes up top for whatever, but then out comes Six Pack in April. And you recall,
Okay.
a few weeks back, Six Pack said, if you beat me, maybe I'll let you watch.
I laughed my ass off because Lawler goes up top for the hip hop drop, and he's standing on the top rope. Out comes Six Pac and April. Okay, Six Pac grabs her, and they start having sexual intercourse right there on the stage. They are he's eating her face. He's grabbing her ass. I mean, they're going all the way there on the stage because it's TNA, you see. And they cut back, and Bryan Lawler is standing on the top rope, and he's doing his Bryan Lawler face. He can't believe his eyes. His eyes are wide. Ah! And I'm not sure if he was supposed to be crotched, but he doesn't get crotched. He just stands there, and they keep having sex, and he keeps watching them. And now, X-Pac's, I mean, he's pretty deep in there. And and this guy's still standing on the fucking top rope. And I don't know if it was a rib or if somebody forgot or whatever.
It was a rib,
but
all right.
finally, he's like, I just got to crotch myself. And he just jumps and crotches himself on the top rope and falls into the ring. I died at this whole preposterous fucking segment. And his selling of being crotched. I can't even do it, dude. I can't do it. You got to go watch this show.
Not sure
watch
to me.
Bryan Lawler's performance in this match. He's so over it. He doesn't care. Fuck me, dude. I was dying during this segment. This was a highlight of the show by miles.
It did not occur to me that BG had forgotten the spot and Lawler had to improvise that.
Dude,
I thought,
and the best part is, when he's doing the face on the top rope, they do a shot like you're watching right now in video. It's just from here. He's going, ah! And then, right when he has to crotch himself, they cut to the fucking hard cam. So you see the guy on the top rope and he goes, oh, and jumps and crotches himself and falls off. The perfect angle to show you that he did it on oh, God.
Yeah, he didn't swing his arms. He didn't try to catch his balance.
No, he just
dove.
crotched himself.
See, I saw it as he was he forgot where he was taking a step towards the stage and crotched himself on the top rope. But now
they should have told the story that he was up there and just thought, I will never have sex with this woman again. I don't need these nuts. I'll just jump on the top rope with them.
So, as I was starting to say,
Colin says it's almost DDP in the Machine from Thunder. Almost. DDP in the Machine was 1,000 times funnier, if that's even possible.
Because, for many reasons, yes, the Machine had the scream.
Yes.
Machine screaming
and
was a big part of it.
And he fucking tried to do a coast-to-coast crotching. He jumped 3/4 of the way across the fucking ring and crotched the top rope.
So, Six Pack said, if you beat me in the match, maybe I'll let you watch me bang your girlfriend. And it turns out he is a man of his word.
Yes.
He brought her and banged her in front of Lawler. What a gentleman.
Yeah.
So,
there's a moment in that match when Lawler is whipped into the railing. And as most guys do, they just run into it and they go over it. Lawler ran towards it, literally stopped right in front of it, and then dropped to his knees, and then went into it. I laughed so hard. It's like
everything he did in this match, everything he did, it was just amazing. He was amazing in this match.
He was a cartoon. I wouldn't say amazing.
Yes, he was. When a living man is an animated cartoon, that's amazing. I don't care what you say.
So all these assholes are laughing at this poor heartbroken guy.
Including us.
just had his guts ripped out and stomped in front of the entire world. He's weeping, and he has... I mentioned Sonny Siaki has one facial expression for everything. Bryan Lawler has 800 expressions for crying.
Yeah.
And eventually he goes to the back, the poor bastard.
He literally had his bottom lip out, and it was quivering.
Yes!
He was bawling. It was... Oh, my gosh.
It was amazing.
So over the top.
So this leads to Six Pack versus AJ Styles. Six Pack cuts a promo. It is a disgrace, he says. The shits! When an X Division title match ends in a DQ. So this is no DQ, but he warns Mortimer Plumtree, if you get involved, you'll get your ass whipped.
Every promo that X-Pac cut, he just came off as the most sincere, friendly guy. Even when he's apologizing for what happened. Didn't he apologize for what happened with April? I forget what he said.
Later, yes.
Later he did, yeah.
After the
but
match.
it was actually this promo where like he comes out and the people are like booing him, and I can't figure out why. And I guess maybe it was because he did that to April or anything. But anyway, he goes, "Yeah, you can boo me, whatever." And then he explains that this is horrible. Like we had a great match and it was just a DQ, and you paid good money for a finish. It's bullshit to not get a finish. And I'm like, God damn, he's right. And so he offered to do it again. No DQ.
No DQ. And he warns Mortimer Plumtree not to get involved. So this match, the actual wrestling involved, was awesome.
Yeah, because X-Pac is such a great worker.
Yes.
Yep.
And what's funny is like I was reading the board, and people were like, I think it was some people in the chat too. They watched and they went, "My God, I never realized what a great worker X-Pac was." And I was like, did he really not show much when he was in WWF there at the end? Because this fucking guy is great. Now, granted, he wasn't able to do matches like this because they had a very specific way of doing matches and such. But, the first time I ever saw him was in Global. They having great matches with Jerry Lynn. Mm-hmm. And then, God damn, he was so great with AJ Styles. Last week and this week, he was great.
Now, to put that in context, according to Dave, Six Pac dislocated his hip early in this match.
You know what?
And gutted out.
You know what? I saw that spot. It was when he got thrown crotch first into the post because he took it and he fell on the ground. And I remember he sold it weird, and I was like, did he fucking hurt his hip? And I just earlier in the show, Jerry Lynn had talked about how he broke his pelvis or whatever. He had a cracked pelvis for 6 weeks or whatever he said. So it was really weird that X-Pac sold like that. Well, it turns out he did.
Yes.
That sucks. And then he did the rest of this match.
Yeah, which was still an awesome match.
Yes.
So he hits the X Factor, but Mortimer pulls the ref out of the ring. So Six Pack goes after Mortimer. AJ ends up accidentally hitting Mortimer, knocking him off the apron. AJ goes to the Styles Clash. Six Pack gets the ropes. But then Brian Lawler runs down, breaks a glass of something over Pac's head. And AJ hits the Clash and wins. And even then, I was like, okay, it's a no DQ match. And this guy I understand why he's mad at Six Pack. So it's a fuck finish, but there's a reason for it. But then Six Pack gets up. And he raises AJ's hand.
Yes.
You were the better man, he says, when you had that other guy hit me with a glass bottle. And then AJ don't care. AJ behind his back passes the belt to Lawler. Lawler uses the belt to hit a Six Pack. And that's all very, very wacky and kind of stupid. But the wrestling itself was so great, I don't even care.
Well, I'm foolishly expecting a follow-up.
This was completely different than the first match. The first match was just spot. And I think I said it last week, and it rings true this week. There was time to breathe in between the moves, and it made the match better.
Ace Steel versus Jorge Estrada. So for those of you who wonder, the Flying Elvis storyline is just dead now.
They said on commentary he's still looking for another Elvis.
You're right. I misspoke.
Yeah.
The feud between Sonny Siaki and the Elvises is dead now. Sonny has moved on. The Elvises have moved on. There is no blow off. There is no payoff. It's just done. So Ace comes out. I had forgotten that he's managed by Mortimer Plumtree right now. Mortimer did not come out with him. So they're out there doing stuff, and they're working outside, and Priscilla, Jorge's valet, gets in Ace's face, and so Ace throws her down.
What a
I
dick.
thought, man, what an asshole. I shouldn't do that. Even the announcer's like, you never do that to him. And he shouldn't, by the way, do that to him. And then they get in the ring, and suddenly Ace is making a comeback.
Yeah, he's supposed to be the babyface.
Is he?
Yes.
He was in this match. And then Priscilla, who had been thrown down, by the way, tripped him up, leading to Jorge getting the pin. And then Mortimer comes out. He's punching and slamming Priscilla, too. I don't know what the fuck's going on.
This was that match that there was way too much going on, and they kept going 100 miles an hour, and it wasn't getting better. This match sucked.
Just beating a woman for no reason.
That
Just
too.
none. And they announced that whole contest last week, how they're going to do this worldwide search, and then apparently they did that over the week. I found Priscilla.
Actually, they introduced her last week.
She was in the Battle Royal on episode 1.
Huh.
Anyway.
Memorable.
So Don West, this is hard sell. Here's your card for next week's show. Jorge and Priscilla versus Mortimer and Ace.
Oh, boy.
God.
America's Most Wanted defend their tag titles against somebody. Six Pack versus Jerry Lawler. Amazing Red versus AJ Styles, which does sound awesome. And thinking about this off the top of my head, I think by this point they'd already had several matches in Ring of Honor. So this is probably going to be really goddamn good. Mm-hmm. And then the last two matches, Kurt Hennig versus Jeff Jarrett and Truth versus Scott Hall. One of those will be a title match depending on the results of the impending main event.
Yes, Philip here says the AJ versus Amazing Red match next week is really good.
Awesome. Happy to hear that. So your main event, Truth versus Kurt Hennig. The only thing interesting here is that it's literally the Rappist Crep guy versus an actual rapper. They do stuff. Mr. Wrestling 3 attacks.
Wasn't this the exact same match we saw last week?
Was that one also no good?
It was definitely no good. Remember Hennig was blown up like a minute in?
Well, he looked blown up here. Mr. Wrestling 3 attacks Hennig. Hennig is in the ring beating him up. None of this is a DQ. As he's going for the mask, Truth hits him in the back with a gimmick of some kind and gets the win. Right.
Wow.
Yeah, that's all I got to say about that.
Another 8-minute main event with Kurt Hennig. Maybe don't have the guy wrestle if he's not in shape yet. And if he's not going to get in shape, maybe don't have him do a main event match that's 8 minutes long. Just like it was a waste of time.
Yeah. And we close with a reminder, or the same video, that the Disciples of the New Church are returning October 30th, next week.
Oh, man.
Devil's Night.
Where is my credit card?
Yeah.
$9.99 for the return of the Disciples of the New Church. I don't even remember anything about them. And, things have only been going on for, 16 weeks, 17 weeks?
Well, they had, it was Jim Mitchell.
I remember him, obviously.
And Malice.
Oh, that's right. Malice,
and
The Wall.
And what the hell was Wolfie D's new name? Slash. And Cobain. I guess he was in there, too.
Oh, yeah, Cobain.
Oh, yeah. He was on one episode so far.
Yes. I bet Cobain doesn't come back.
I would bet Cobain doesn't
because
come back.
I didn't have any memory of Cobain when we first saw him.
Almost positive The Wall does not come back. So it'll be Slash and somebody.
Wow.
Maybe it's already Abyss. I don't know. I honestly don't know. But that's the show.
Yeah.
Do you have
Who said this was good?
I said the
Vinny
first
did.
half was awesome.
Vinny did.
Okay.
He said it. It's his fault. He lied to everybody.
No, I said the first half was awesome.
All right. Well, let's do your finishes report, brah.
This is a doozy. The finishes on this show were 4 clean pins and an elimination match. Clean pin. Pin after interference from 3 men and a mid-match promo. Pin after distraction. Pin after interference. Pin after interference. And pin after interference. Yeah.
That sounds like shit.
66 minutes of wrestling over 8 matches.
That sounds like a really good show.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to wrap it up. Hey, Thursday, we will not be live on YouTube, so if you are listening and you want to watch it, you have to sign up, video.f4wonline.com or wrestlingobserver.com. It is AEW and NXT, Dynamite, and Halloween Havoc. I heard the Becky Lyra match was great tonight. Cool. I got to go watch that right now. Vinny and I will spend 90 minutes reviewing it on Thursday night. And then we'll be back on Sunday, AEW Collision, and a live Q&A for YouTube subscribers. So a lot of stuff coming up. And that's it, everybody. We'll talk to you again after a while.
Good night.
Adios.
Mahalo.